What's going on, everybody? My name is Ben Kenyon, and I'm the Director of Performance for the Philadelphia 76ers. Thank you for joining us for episode 2 of Climb Conversations. This podcast is for anyone looking to grow as a leader, level up as a person, and positively impact the community of people around them. Today's episode, I get to sit down and talk with Elana Meyers Taylor, who is the most decorated Black athlete in Winter Olympics. She's also a 2-time Olympic medalist as a member of the women's bobsled team. You should be able to walk away from this conversation and learn how to actually build a better routine and be way more consistent. Enjoy the conversation. So again, Elana, I appreciate you jumping on. I know you've got a whole lot happening with your fam, so thank you for taking a little bit of time to jump on Climb Conversations today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Climb Conversations, it's for our emerging leaders. It's for the young folks out there that are looking to continue to grow. They want to now, after high school, after college, starting off in their career, they want to figure out how to get to the top of that mountain peak that they're aiming for. And I figured, why not ask some of my cool friends that are out there dominating life outside of the strength and conditioning world, how they're getting it done. And so I've got a couple questions for you that I think other guests have done a great job answering, but I feel like your story is super special. So the first question I got for you is just, what allowed you or what made you pick this career path? What put you down or put you on this road to be an Olympic bobsledder?
I think I'm a glutton for punishment, long story short. But no, I had a dream since the age of 9 to be an Olympian. It was just also a matter of finding what sport I could be an Olympian in. So as you know, as maybe your audience doesn't know, I played college softball growing up, and I played softball growing up. And I was trying to make the Olympic team that way, trying to make it through softball, doing everything I could. I played professionally, had an Olympic tryout, and totally bombed the tryout. So crashed and burned in Olympic softball, and then softball got taken out of the games. So if I wanted to be an Olympian, I needed a new sport. And so my parents saw bobsled on TV, said, why don't you try this? I Googled it, emailed the coach, and got invited to a tryout. But it really started with that dream of, hey, I want to be an Olympian. I think at the age of 9, I wasn't sure what that took and what that would actually mean. But, sorry.
No, it's all good.
Having that dream and just doing whatever it took to follow through, like that was the biggest thing is like, but it started with that goal and sticking to it. There was a lot of different ups and downs, ebbs and flows throughout the time, but just being consistent and saying, hey, this is what I want. I'm going to do everything I can to go after it. And fortunately for me, I was able to turn it into a much longer career. So I've been bobsledding now for like 16 years, I think, which is
wild. That's wild. Yeah.
And it all started as a little 9-year-old saying, hey, I'm going to be an Olympian now. I never thought I'd be a Winter Olympian. I mean, that's crazy, like to get in that sport, but I also saw it as an opportunity. Like bobsled is a sport you can pick up after you're done competing in other sports. It's a sport where you get better over time. So age and experience helps. And then also it's a sport where you can't really do when you're young because our sleds are heavy. Our sleds are about 400 pounds. I think you have to be at least 16 to drive one of our competition sleds. So it's not like there's a whole bunch of kids you're competing against who grew up bobsledding. So it has some of those kind of aspects that really lend itself to being able to transfer into and then being able to make an Olympic team and have a long career at. So I'm 38 years old right now, and I can still realistically, I could still make another Olympic team. And even if I wanted to, I don't think I will, but even another one after that, like I could still make 2 Olympic teams and my driving skill will get better. With age, my physical aspects might start to decline a little bit. We're talking, 40 and having 2 kids. So that might decline a little bit, but I can make up with it with my teammates, the people who push me, and then also me being the driver and getting that skill level and improving that skill level with each year.
Heck yeah. Well, okay. So question that just popped up in my head is like, you're on top of this mountain. And again, I've known you for a while, since the softball days, back at GW. You are one hell of an athlete. You work hard, you are dedicated, you are locked in. now that you're on top of the mountain and you've got people like shooting for you, like they want your position, they want to be able to now go after, all the medals that you have, from potential USA teammates to other people out there. Like, how do you stay focused? How do you stay locked in?
Well, I think the fun thing for me is it's an ever-changing sport and it's ever-changing dynamics. So for me personally, as I continue to age, as my lifestyle continues to change, adding kids to the mix and stuff like that, the puzzle pieces continue to change of how I'll be able to stay at the highest level. So even though you've got these younger guns coming up and trying to challenge me or whatnot, I stay focused on what I have to do, because it's like, in a sense, it's like a fun, different puzzle that we get to put together. My husband is my strength coach as well. So when I say we, it's me and him putting together how we're going to get physically, mentally, and, even all the logistics squared away for each season. So I think that's my focus, is a continual challenge. And that's what keeps me going, because I like challenges, because I like figuring out the pieces and how to make it work and how to put it all together. And I do like the pressure of the young guns coming up underneath of me and saying, hey, I've got to figure out how to make these changes and be successful doing it. Know that, 24-year-old woman, trying to compete against me, she has an injury or something, she takes a good nap, she's fine. Me, I have an injury. It's like, okay, gotta make sure I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
And all these things you should be anyways, but you're like, oh, did I have one piece of toast I shouldn't have? Or, there's these little things that I have to focus on that I probably didn't when I was younger, that my competitors didn't when they were younger as well. That just makes it so much more fun putting the dynamic together.
So it's like tightening up that routine, getting maybe more like healthier habits, trying to make sure that you're a little more focused and dialed in, just because you enjoy the challenges. That keeps you fired up, that keeps you focused, but being able to dial those things in pretty much allow you to get it done.
Yep. And I feel like probably should have done it when I was younger, but I think all of us have an issue,
We all have that problem. Yep.
You just hop out of bed and your body feels good. And, even if you have a hard day, it might take you 2 days. And you could do a lot of things when you're younger. They say youth is wasted on the young. So it's just one of those things that you take for granted, some of those little things that you really need to hone in. And not saying I wasn't like paying attention to nutrition and training and rest and recovery at that age, but now my focus on it is like tenfold compared to where it was in that.
Which is super helpful, again, for the emerging leaders listening. Understand that, like, if you want to continue to separate yourself, this is what you can do. What we're talking about right now are the separators, just because I think a lot of people that are hungry for growth and achievement, they love to actually talk about it, write it down, vision board it out. But when it comes to actually doing the action steps and taking that and putting that to use, I think that's where a lot of people fall off. And being consistent over time is pretty much the game plan, right? Saying that, if I can just continue to chip away, even if I'm staying right here on this line, guess what? I know for a fact that when it becomes to game time for me to actually show up and show out, I know I'll be able to level up from there, just because I've been so consistent over time.
Yeah. And I think that's the hard thing, is because like sometimes you just want to sit back and kind of enjoy the fruits of your labor. And you want to take, you want to be able to, I've been bobsledding for 16 years and had to have a pretty strict diet throughout the whole time. And at some point, you just want to go binge on red velvet cake or what have you. But now's the time where you have to focus in even more. And, that time will come where, maybe I'm not paying attention to every single calorie or every single macro and micronutrient that goes in. But during this time, while I'm still in what I'm currently doing, that's when I have to focus and double down and like do the things day in and day out to be consistent. So like you said, when I need to, I can take off.
So how can we transition that for, the non-athlete, right? Because there's a lot of emerging leaders out there that are dominating life in the athletic realm, which, I'm here for that. But for the non-athlete, what advice would you give that might, align with what you just said?
Well, I think it is the same day in and day out, doing the little things that make a difference. One of the things I think for anybody that is huge is just movement. I think and getting up in the morning and making sure you've got mobility and you're active and things like that is important for any skill that you're going to do. It's going to help you keep your brain sharper. It's going to help you, be more confident. It's going to help you walk better. It's going to help you sleep better, all these different things. So I think that is one of the things that, regardless of what industry you're in, and I think it's very easy when you have a desk job, when you are, or when you have even a more active job where you're traveling a lot, that's one of the things that you need to maintain consistency. That usually goes by the wayside because you get up and you're like, oh, I got to catch the flight at 7. Really want to, or I got to leave for the airport at 7. I don't really want to get out of bed extra early. I want to sleep in and do all that stuff. But like, even that consistency of movement is going to help transfer throughout all industries because of the other benefits it has on your brain health, on your mental health, on all these other things going on. So outside of just like physically making sure you're doing the right things, also just finding those things that you need to be consistent with to be successful. I think a lot of times is people don't take the time to try and figure out what makes, sorry.
No, it's all good.
Little guy.
Elite. You're an elite mom. You're in the middle of a convo, but still getting the mom job in. I love this. I'm here for it.
But I think a lot of times is people don't take the time to actually do the deep dive to figure out what those consistent habits are that make somebody great at their profession, So in order to do those consistently, you have to figure out what they are first. And then once you figure out what they are, incorporating them into your lifestyle. That little guy.
He's having a blast. I'm not bad at him, but I love that. Thank you for that. I just that's something, I've had a lot of young folks come up to me that aren't in sports and I'm not even looking to get into sports, like from graphic design to things that are outside of the world that we're in. And I know that we can still provide awesome information that still allow them to be great at what they do. So awesome. Core values are like huge for me. They mean everything to me. I feel like number one is your faith. If you have a belief system, that's really going to get you through. Then number 2 are core values. So what are a few core values that allow you to navigate, your day to day?
Well, faith is very huge. I think so much of parenting is faith. And then family for sure. Obviously, I've got my kids here with me. They love being on camera and taking up mic space and whatnot. But they're very important to me. And I think for an athlete especially, I always had the desire to try and continue competing with other and make this work. And I whether or not that's for you, whether or not you want to be a professional and have a family, I have no judgment. But I know that's something that I really wanted. So for me, having a family was part of what was going to fuel me and part of what was going to sustain me to continue having my career, They are simply put like part of my motivation. So the reason I get up every morning and want to go out and achieve certain things is no longer just because winning medals is cool. It's because I want to be able to show my kids what it looks like to go in and day out, work hard, and to go after goals. And even if I don't win more medals, at least I'm setting that example for them. And then I think another one of my core values, I guess, faith, family, and I think maybe just friendship and respect. I think friendship in the form of a lot of my friends do become my second family. And then respect in that, like respect not only people who are around you, but also respect for what you do, respect for how you live, respect for the planet, respect for all these different things. So I think respect encompasses a lot. But, I think especially because both my kids are disabled as well, respecting for people of all abilities, of all walks of life, it's pretty huge for us.
That's awesome. So what does respect look like for you when it comes to, your peers, working with your peers, working with your husband, dealing with people when you're going through that, like the whole process of getting ready for the Olympics? What does that look like for you?
Well, I think the biggest thing for me with respect is the reason I say like respect and not some of the other words you could use is because you're not always going to get along with who you have to work with, especially since when you're directly competing with some of the people that you're around, or you're directly competing with some of the people on your own team. So,
Noah's locked in. He's here for it. I'm not mad at it. Come on, Noah. What does respect look like for you, Noah?
It looks like these. Everybody say hi. Everybody say hi.
What up, Noah?
Yeah.
That's
And
awesome, little dick.
I think it encompasses of honoring what somebody is doing or what they are going through in order to accomplish whatever they're trying to accomplish. So, like I said, you don't have to like everybody you work with, or you don't have to like everybody around you, but you should respect what they're trying to do, respect their hustle base. I do. I genuinely do. And I fortunately, I do get along with most of the people I'm around in the Olympic sense, but at the same time, I don't necessarily get along with all my competitors, but I definitely respect them going up and trying to beat me. So they're working as hard as they can to try and accomplish their goals. So.
Love that. So it's pretty much like a shift your perspective. Understand that even if I don't get along with this person, their mindset is focused on whatever their goal is, and just understand that sometimes your goals don't align. Even if it is your coach or your teammate or whatever, or even other people. When folks I've learned that at the highest level, if you are there, you're supposed to be there, right? You're meant to be there. But at the same time, you might have a totally different agenda, while you're there. It may not align with what I've got going on. So you really got to be cool with that. And that's something I've had to navigate myself over the last, close to 17, 20 years of working in sports and all, just because you're not going to get along with everybody. You're going to have some memorable moments with some amazing people. I'm still close with, I don't know if you were there when Brandy Walker was there. She was an intern grad assistant at that point, but she's like my little sister now, man. We really made it this far just because our values aligned and her perspectives align with a lot of my perspectives. But there's a lot of other people that I definitely had great relationships with because I respected them during that moment. And we're not best friends right now, which is cool. They were there for that moment. I learned what I needed to learn and I kept it moving. So that's what I'm kind of hearing what you're saying right now. And it's huge because I think a lot of younger folks these days, the moment that they see or feel a certain way about another person or a situation, they A, try to bail, or B, try to point a finger and say, hey, you're messing up my environment. Sometimes you need to take a step back, sit down for a second, understand their perspective is their perspective. Is there something I can learn from it and appreciate and use, for my gain so that I can actually use this to get to the next level because I won't be here forever,
Yeah. And I think where that comes out nowadays, especially in the real world, so quote unquote, is politically, is people have such strong opinions one way or another in politics. And now we've gotten to the point where people won't even sit down and have a conversation. If you start off the conversation with if somebody introduces you and you're wearing a shirt that might have something they don't agree with, or you might say something they don't agree with, automatically it's a conversation stopper. It's people being willing to respect that people are going to have other opinions. People are going to have other goals and desires and stuff like that. And where can we get to the point where we're able to have discussions and we're able to work together, even if we have these disagreements or these, differences in opinion. That translates into the working world too. Is I think in team sports especially, is you have some people who are very focused on their individual goals, whether it's working up the corporate ladder or whether it's, getting a pay raise or whatnot. You have some people who are so focused on that, but also in most lines of work, you do have a teamwork aspect. You have a project to work on, you have group dynamics, you have all these different things, you have people you rely on. And so are you giving away your respect for other people within that setting in order to try and reach these individual goals, or vice versa? Are you so focused on what's going on in that group that you're forgetting your individual goals as well? So it's always a dynamic and an interplay that we're all dealing with, regardless of whether we're athletes or in the business world or teachers or nurses. You've all got these different types of dynamics, and moving throughout the real world too.
Yeah, it's real. It's real out there. Okay, so last question for you. You dropped a whole bunch of amazing gems, a lot of nuggets. What can an emerging leader do today to continue on their climb?
Well, I think the biggest thing is if you don't meditate already, add in some meditation. I really think we need to sit and be okay with ourselves and sit and reflect. I think that's a very valuable skill that most people take for granted, is just having that time to sit with yourself and not only like calm yourself and be reflexive, but also that time of getting to know yourself is really going to allow you to align where you want to go next and what you want to do. What do you want your life to look like? I think in today's world, it's so easy to not take that time to sit with ourselves. And I think, without going off on too much of a tangent, I think, smartphones have kind of taken some of that time away from us. Because instead of standing in a line, at the grocery store or whatever, and sitting and just thinking about yourself or thinking about what's going on around you or people watching or whatnot, usually most of us are on our cell phone, those small moments throughout the day where we used to have time to be reflexive, have kind of been manufactured out of our lives. So I think that is a skill that if you haven't honed it already, especially if you're working to be in a leadership position, I highly recommend is that introspection, that skill of being able to sit quietly with yourself and meditate and focus on yourself and really just, like I said, sit with yourself.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm going to double down on that. Go meditate. Go get a good, 5 to 20 minutes, figure out that time frame and just go sit there. Being still is a task these days. So it is something that allows you to get recentered, refocused, and do that introspective work that you need to do so you can go out there and be the superstar that you are. So I appreciate you jumping on. I appreciate Noah jumping on today. This has been super awesome. I knew it would be. And just continue to dominate life, dude. It's awesome and amazing to watch or to know where you came from, where you started off as that softball player, to see where you are now as a mom, an Olympian, and just continuing to rock the world. So keep dominating.
Thank you so much, and you as well. It's been follow your career and great to see you again.
Yeah, heck yeah, great to see you, man.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that conversation, please subscribe and share with an emerging leader that will benefit from the conversation. Also, go to greatdaytoclimb.com and go pick up your copy of Climb today. See you next time. Peace.